Is about in our life to write about, and you guys have all come up with some really great ideas to write about. I was very impressed. And this weekend I read, remember like on the first or second day of school, you wrote those true stories about yourself? I got all of those graded this weekend too. So I was really happy to read all of your writing. You'll have some really great ideas. So I'm going to help you to develop a good personal narrative story. Now let me tell you what personal narrative means. So a lot of you have heard the word narrative, I think. Have you heard that word before? No?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Narrative is, it's not nonfiction, so it's not true. So it can be made up, but it can also be a true story about you. And that's where it becomes personal. So personal means about you. So a personal you, the person. Priscilla, are you ready to listen? Okay. Personal, that's you. Narrative. So this is a true story about you. Sometimes you might write a made-up story. It could really happen, but it's made up. And that's not personal. Like if you made up a story about, your own characters that you made up, then it's just a narrative. This is a personal one about you. Okay? So I'm going to teach you how to write your very, very best personal narrative. We're going to walk through it each step by step, and I'm going to tell you what types of things are in a good personal narrative. A lot of you already have great stories already. Okay? One of the first, now we're only going to look at a few things on this list at a time. Okay? One of the first things that you're going to think about when you write a personal narrative is you have to focus on a small moment. See how I put little clouds around small moment because that's important. From your life, it's underlined, your life. You're not writing a story about Jim Bob down the street. You're writing a story from your life. And it's a small moment. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the small moment. That sometimes is the hardest part about writing personal narratives for third graders. Okay? So a lot of you have heard about the watermelon and the seed.
No. Yeah.
This is how you kind of think about personal narratives. Personal narratives, if you think about, this is just going to be a sketch, so no, watermelons are not bumpy like that.
Just draw an oval.
Yep. Okay, so you have the watermelon. That's a real big, big story. So for instance, if you're writing about going to Disneyland, and you write about from the time you got up in the morning, all the way till the end of the day after you rode all the rides and you went home. That's the watermelon. You're telling about your whole day. But if you have watermelons have seeds in them. So the watermelon is my day, or my whole day at Disney. Okay? If you pull out a few seeds, maybe you just want to tell me about your one favorite ride at Disneyland instead of a whole day. So maybe you pull this out and you tell about, I'm trying to think of one of the rides at Disney.
Ride?
Tower of Terror.
No.
You just tell me all about your experience
That's
on
important.
Tower of Terror. Okay? Or maybe instead of telling me about the whole day, you only tell me about when you and your brother got lost from your parents.
I can't see that.
Okay. So you didn't tell me about your whole story. You didn't tell me all about your whole day at Disney. You just chose one small part of the day, but it was a really important part of the day. Your favorite ride, or you got lost.
Are you going to fix that line?
Okay.
What line?
Or maybe instead of telling me about your whole day at Disney, you tell me about getting up in the morning and driving on the busy interstate to get to Disneyland.
I hate that.
Because it's busy, it's a big city that it's in. So driving to Disneyland. Do you see what I'm saying about a small moment? It's not your whole day. You choose one small part of that day, and you write a really, really, really detailed part about that, a story about that. Okay, I'm going to show you a book that does a really good job of taking a small moment and turning it into a story. Okay, and it kind of goes with my Disney thing. It's called Roller Coaster.
Ooh.
Okay,
I think I wrote that.
it's by Marla Frazee, I believe is how you would say it. Okay. All of these people are waiting in line for the roller coaster. So already I'm picturing in my mind, ooh, if I was going to talk about my ride, the first place I could start telling about it is when I was standing in line for that ride. How was I feeling? Was I nervous? On Tower of Terror, I was super nervous, really nervous, because I'm not really scared of heights, but sometimes when I do drops like that, my stomach gets sick. So really what I was really scared of is that I was going to throw up in front of everybody. That's what I was worried about in line. And then I started to look around in line, and there was a bunch of little kids like this big in line, and I'm thinking, they don't even seem scared, and here I am an adult, and I am scared to death. So these are the kinds of things that I was observing and I was thinking about while I was in line for Tower of Terror. Most of them have ridden on lots of roller coasters. Some of them have only ridden on a roller coaster once or twice. At least one of them has never ridden on a roller coaster before.
Ever. It says the word ever. Ever.
That's what the person's saying. Or, oh, that does go with it. Ever.
Told ya.
The roller coaster is very big and very noisy.
Wow.
Oh, so right now in my head I'm thinking, okay, after I talk about in line and what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, my hands were really sweaty because I was nervous, then I can start to kind of describe the ride. So I look up and it is super tall, and I could hear people screaming when they were coming down, and you could see the ride dropping. So those are the kinds of things I was seeing. This is what this person was seeing. They described it as very big and noisy.
It's way much better if you're in the front.
You must be tall enough to ride it. But sometimes even those who are tall enough decide they don't want to. Lots of people change their mind about riding the roller coaster at the very last minute. I really wanted to do that the closer and closer I got. And then I kept seeing signs that said, like kind of like warnings, like this ride might cause you to get sick to your stomach, or if you're old and you have a weak heart, you might not want to ride this ride. And I'm like, oh gosh. I just kept getting more and more nervous the closer I got, and I was kind of like some of these people, I kind of just wanted to back out and not do it.
Did you?
Oh, you have to wait.
I'm waiting.
That's the story, so I'm like building suspense.
I'm waiting till they make a roller coaster. That's what I do.
Finally, it's time to get into the cars. That was kind of me. The operator says, load them up, 2 to a seat.
I like the front.
So, in my story, I would talk about how I was feeling as I was getting on. I was really nervous. I was gripping my husband's arm, like a death grip. He probably had my fingernail marks in his arm. I was so scared.
That's what me and Landon used.
And in this ride, you stand. You don't
stand?
sit. You stand.
What? Yeah, you have to. I've seen that.
When everyone is buckled in, the operator rings a bell. Then he releases the brake.
You like to stand?
The train jerks forward on the tracks. Now, it is too late for anyone to change their mind. So that's kind of what I was thinking when I got on and they shut the door. It's now or never.
You said,
I can't back out now. I even thought for a minute, oh, I wonder if they would stop if I said stop, 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 stop. I changed my mind. But the doors were already closed, and then there was all these people in there with me, and I didn't want to seem, I didn't want to seem
You don't want to
scared.
chicken out?
Yeah.
I chickened out when my brothers dared me to go on the twister.
Slowly, the train is pulled up the hill by a chain. Clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety, up, up, up. And then... That's how I was feeling. My ride is a tall tower, and you were rising up and up and up.
Yep,
And then it stopped. And then I was just really gripping my husband because I knew what was going to come next. Just like these people, they go slow up to the top. They know what's coming next, right?
Braden said that
You're going to drop.
Braden's been on a roller coaster like that. He said it went down like a 90-degree
Okay,
angle.
wait a minute. Let's hold our stories and our comments till we're done. Whoosh! Most people scream. Some people can't make a sound. And one person can't even open her eyes. That's me. I keep my eyes closed the whole time.
Is that a guy working on that? Why would it be open if he wasn't there?
Boys and girls, please remember to share your stories and your comments at the end. The train zips.
But you had to stand up.
It zooms. Right now, I would be adding some more detail to my story. I'd be talking about what I was feeling, what I was seeing, what was happening.
She goes upside down.
It dips and dives. So it's really talking a lot about what the
hate that.
roller coaster is doing.
I hate that.
Mackenzie, remember if you have a comment, let's save it until the end.
Needs a part.
And goes all the way around.
It's lucky if it didn't stop on the way.
Remember, save your comments.
Whee! Now
Now the ride is over.
Is that quick?
Most of these people are dizzy. Some of them have wobbly knees. But at least one of them is planning to ride the roller coaster again. So I would talk about how I felt when it was finally over. Like, was I relieved? Was I glad I did it? Was I saying I would never do that again?
That was awesome.
How was I feeling? Did I feel like I was going to throw up? Was my stomach feeling sick? Oh, that's not the end of the sentence. But at least one of them is planning to ride the roller coaster again right now. So she was feeling like she's glad she did it, I think. Okay, Noah, thanks for raising your hand.
When I was at the carnival, I rode on the zipper and the spider. Dude, it went so fast.
You guys, I know all of you have stories that relate to this. So would you just save those stories right now and maybe save them to write about? Sometimes books do a really good job of making you think of stories. Like this book made me think of a time when I rode a scary ride. Okay? So today, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to go back for a moment and you're going to get out all of your writing tools. And what I want you to do is to start to look at your life web that you made. And then I want you to look at your notes that you made. Remember you chose 3 from your life webs? I want you to start looking at those and thinking about a story, a personal narrative that you think that you could turn into a story. Okay? So for instance, in my log, if I had put my day, or Disneyland, and then underneath, my bullet would have been the Tower of Terror. I would choose that because I would think I could write a story about that. Okay? So I'm gonna give you a few minutes to go back and choose out of your notes something that you can make a story up from, and then I'm gonna ask you to come back. So about 5 minutes? 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that long enough to go back and look at your notes and choose one that you think you could make into a story?
Yeah.
Okay, Jennifer, thanks for raising your hand.
I just wanted to know real quick because I forgot to put it on. Can we write a story that's not on there?
Yeah, you've thought of another one. Yeah. But then I want you to go back and write some notes, a little bit of notes about it, some details while you're waiting. Okay, so back you go, get your tools out, look at your notes, and find something that you think you could make a story.